Ms. Case, I believe it's 7:30, and I believe we have all members of the board that we're anticipating this evening.
Very good, thank you. So just prior to this meeting, this virtual meeting, the board had a closed executive session virtually where our meeting was called to order, so we may begin. To start our meeting, I'm going to turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. David Adderholt, for his comments.
Good evening, everyone. Just for the good of the viewing public, since we are streaming this meeting for those participants, what we've learned when we watch back the video, there is no names that appear on the screen. So on the bottom right corner, at least on my screen, there are two boxes that are grayed out. That's our Assistant Board Secretary, Bonnie Cheney, and our Director of Communication, Kia Bergman, who are both joining to support us to make sure that the meeting runs smoothly through the virtual meeting. So in case you're wondering who else is on the screen, that's who's joining the board tonight. There are currently two members of the board that are unable to be present this evening. So with Isaac Chang and Graylin McEwen are not present with us this evening. Again, my name is Dave Adderholt, Superintendent for the district, and I appreciate you joining this evening. Tonight, I just wanted to make a couple really quick comments with respect to some things that are happening out there at the state level with respect to the end of the school year. As many members of the public know, last Monday, which was May 5th, our governor issued an executive order to now close schools for the remainder of the year and to stay as a virtual learning environment. So our school district will proceed with planning as required to close the school out in a virtual fashion. That includes graduation, and I sent a memo to our parents last week just indicating that we've been told virtual. That was reinforced on Friday evening, approximately 7 o'clock on Friday night. The Department of Education issued a broadcast memo to the school districts, and on Thursday, the state police issued a memo as well, an administrative order issuing guidance around graduation. The graduation guidance that we've received to date is virtual only, and that's coming from the Department of Ed as well as from the state police, and it falls in line with the executive order and the stay-at-home provisions. That is very difficult for the district and for our students to hear as we were planning to find pathways to bring students together in small groups. We will continue to find ways to plan to try to make the experience as meaningful as possible to honor our seniors. To our seniors and to our parents of seniors, as a parent of a senior myself, I truly get the difficulty this has had on all of us in trying to honor our children as we conclude a school year. I've been working with both Dr. Dauber and Mr. Lepple, their respective administrations, Dr. McDonald, the communications team, as well, to try to find ways to honor the student class advisors. And I know the administration at the building level has been working directly with our student leaders and our PTSA representatives, and they will continue to do so as we work forward to create a pathway. I know our staff have been intricately involved at the building level as well in trying to find ways to honor our seniors, but nothing we do will replace an in-person graduation ceremony and the experience of being collectively together to celebrate 13 years in the school district. We recognize how difficult this is, and we will continue to do everything in our collective power to try to find ways to honor our students moving forward. I expect some form of memo out to our parents from our building principals at the high school level no later than Friday of this week to give at the very least preliminary plans on where we stand with respect to graduation and graduation procedures. But there's other things that are related and around the end of the year for seniors that we're mindful of. Senior awards, banquets, and scholarship night. There's also the National Honor Society for our underclassmen, and those programs and recognitions. The principals have been working with the students around what they want to do with respect to prom and or virtual prom. To date, students do not seem to be showing interest in that kind of gathering. It just doesn't have the same meaning that we've been hearing as feedback. That's to the building principals, and the building principals relaying that feedback back to me. We'll continue to have those conversations in the days ahead. But it's not just our seniors, it's also things like the 6th grade outdoor education, the 8th grade salute, end of year procedures across the district. Parents have questions regarding pickup and drop off of items and desks and music instruments and textbooks and book bins that have been collected, or classroom materials that have been distributed that need to be collected, um, devices for students that are leaving the district, graduating seniors, Chromebooks, whether we're going to collect all Chromebooks or leave them with families over the summer, is things we're working on right now. In the next week to 2 weeks, lots of different documentation and guidance will be coming out from the district to families as we work through the final process and thinking around that work. The other, of course, very difficult component of all this has been athletics, and loss of the spring season and the unknown of the fall. There's a lot of components to what that could look like of the fall, but I am been on a lot of calls with the Department of Education and some representatives at the state level. And I do have a lot of questions that exist personally with respect to if we cannot see our doctors, will they sign physical forms? What's it going to look like in guidelines in August for sports and sports registration? And I think we need to be very mindful that some of the challenges that we're having as a state and as a nation, as a global population regarding the pandemic could very well exceed into the fall, and that we could potentially see a lot of restrictions in the fall. And while we're not aware of what is coming, we are very mindful that lots of potential restrictions could be in place for the fall, and we need to start mentally preparing ourselves for continuation of virtual instruction as a possibility. We need to be at least prepared and prepped for that possibility, and with that would come potentially the loss of opportunities in the fall season as well. So we're nowhere near out of this woodwork from the perspective of the coronavirus, and in the short term and near term, we're going to have lots of restrictions and requirements that we're going to have to adhere to. We are waiting on guidance, and we will continue to keep our community informed moving forward. In the general spirit of keeping our community informed, I'm going to share my screen right now and bring up a presentation, very brief, just regarding Maurice Hawk Elementary School. So I just wanted to share some slides real quick about Maurice Hawk as we have moved to the completion of that project. I am just going to very quickly show a couple pictures on the screen, just to give you a sense that we did have a certificate of occupancy issued for the Maurice Hawk project. So it is clearly a project that was several months overdue and almost a full school year overdue from a completion standpoint. But that was because we were concerned about the final product, and we held the contractor accountable to make sure that the high quality product was delivered to the community. And while it did not come in on time, I'm proud to say it did come in under budget. Maurice Hawk, that's the entranceway to the new main entrance of Maurice Hawk in the future. It's right off of this driveway. As you pull up there, you can see the underhang directly in front of you. That is this entranceway. And as we enter the facility, we got a side door there, just to give you an example of what some of the facility looks like. The final product, you can see the side of the buildings, the way the windows and the awnings look. Interior conference room in the main office, place for families and staff to gather with meetings. This is our art classroom, and you can get a sense of some of the workspace and the lighting and some of the shelving. Corridor was one of the points of contention, actually, was some concerns with flooring. Glad to say that thanks to the actions the board took back in December, as well as 2 months ago, we were able to get flooring concerns remedied with extended warranties and at contractor expense. This is just a general classroom that you can see one particular setup of the way the classrooms look. And then just as a final sort of overview, the project totality was $15,995,000. To date, both hard and soft costs. Soft costs would be things like fees for the architect and engineers, as well as submission costs and some of the agency reviews. We're at $15,857,530. So we are under budget as of to date by 137,000 and change. There might be some slight purchase order adjustments and some slight settling out, but right now, while we are over on time, we are under on budget. And so we are finishing within the dollars allotted by the Board of Education for both the physical construction as well as the soft costs, which includes the furniture, again, architectural fees, agency fees, remediations, whatnot. So again, facility is beautiful, and the board and the administration work to hold the contractor accountable to complete the project to the standard in which our community deserves and our children and staff deserve. And again, I just wanted to provide an update. It is something where we will be fully prepared to move our third grade teachers at Maurice into the new space over the summer with hopes and expectation of return in the fall. And with that, that concludes the superintendent comments for this evening. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adderhold. That brings us to the first opportunity for public comment. The board invites thoughts and reactions on agenda items and items of concern from members of our community who have submitted written comments on the form that was open and available on the district website up until the start of this first opportunity for public comment. All submissions containing all required fields completed will be viewed during the meeting and included as public comment in the official minutes. Each comment should be directed to the presiding officer, not individual members of the board, and will be read by the board attorney for 3 minutes in accordance with Board Policy 0167. If the comment extends beyond those 3 minutes, the full comment will be submitted and available as part of the meeting's public record. So with that, I'm going to ask Dr. Adderhold to share his screen and thank our board attorney, Mark Toscano, for reading the comments.
I'm just going to refresh my screen to make sure that no comments were submitted. Okay. And Mr. Toscano, I just verified with our Director of Communication, and as of the opening of the public comment, there was no public comments submitted for the board's review this evening.
Okay.
I'm going to stop sharing screen at this time.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Adderhold. So that will close the public comment period for this time. And we'll move forward with our agenda. There were the committees did not meet since our last board meeting, so there are no committee reports. So we'll move forward with the voting portion of our agenda. We'll start with the administration items 1 and 2. Can I please get a motion? Martin and Robin. Are there any questions on the administration items? I'm just going to ask the board members to unmute their microphones so that when Chris calls the roll, we'll be able to hear your vote. Thank you, Chris.
Okay. All right, we'll start with Mr. Flores.
Yes.
Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Mr. Whitfield.
Yeah.
Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Ms. Juliana.
Yes.
Ms. Case.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor.
Thank you. There are no curriculum and instruction items tonight, so we'll move forward with the finance items 1 through 8. Can I please get a motion? Louisa and Rachel. Are there any questions or comments on the finance items? Thank you, Chris.
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Then Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Mr. Whitfield. Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Flores.
Yes.
Ms. Juliana.
Yes.
Ms. Case.
Yes. Can I please get a motion
Dr. Russo, I believe, did you get Mr. Whitfield's? Yes, it came through kind of delayed.
It did, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Can I please get a motion on personnel item number 1 plus the addendum? Dana and Tony. Are there any questions or comments on the personnel items? Thank you, Chris.
I have to say, everyone sounds like me unless that's my headset. We'll start with Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Mr. Whitfield.
Yes.
And next is Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Mr. Flares.
Yes.
Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Juliana.
Yes.
And Ms. Case.
Michelle, can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Maybe she should nod her head.
Yes, Ms. Case.
Yes. I just got a little note on my computer that says my internet is unstable, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Could I please get a motion to approve the minutes from our last board meeting on April 28th? Rachel and Morton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed or abstentions? Do we have any liaison reports? Is there any new business? That brings us to our second opportunity for public comment. The board invites thoughts and reactions on agenda items and items of concern from members of the community who have submitted written comments on the form that was open and available on the district website up until the start of this second opportunity for public comment. All submissions containing required fields completed will be viewed during the meeting and included as public comment in the official minutes. Each comment should be directed to the presiding officer, not individual members of the board, and will be read by the board attorney for 3 minutes in accordance with board policy 0167. If the comment extends beyond those 3 minutes, the full comment will be submitted and available as part of the meeting's public record.
There does not appear, we're just refreshing, Madam President.
And I just confirmed with our Director of Communication that there are no comments submitted at the time the meeting closed for the second closed session as well.
Okay. So the board is going to need to meet again in closed session. So I'm going to read the required statement. It says, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act authorizes boards of education to meet in executive session under certain circumstances, and whereas the Open Public Meetings Act requires the board to adopt a resolution at a public meeting to go into private session, now therefore be it resolved by the West Windsor-Plainsboro Regional School District Board of Education that it is necessary to meet in executive session to discuss certain items involving personnel matters. Be it further resolved that any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public as soon as feasible. The minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Be it further resolved that the board will not return to open session to conduct business at the conclusion of the executive session. So with that, can I please get a motion to move into executive session? Robin and Louisa. All those in favor say aye.
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 So I'm going to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and we will log out of this meeting and go into the next one soon. Okay, thanks.
I'll
Everybody
open
stay safe.
Madam President, I'll open the link as soon as I get off so we don't have to wait.
Perfect. Thank you.
Is that the same link from before?
No, there was an email that I sent around the other day that had that.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. So that
Okay.
concludes the board meeting for this evening. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.